And members of Hell's Angels have been spotted around Lake of the Ozarks this week. However, by Saturday night, many of the riders already appear to have moved on. Phil Rodriguez spent the day looking for them and talking to people who actually crossed paths with them.
Came to Lake Ozark today looking for the Hells Angels that have gathered here all week. But by Saturday night, it appeared that most of them had already moved on.
But one place they left a trail was the Rockwood Resort Motel on the Strip. Owner Tom Stevens says 10 or 12 rooms were filled with riders earlier in the week, with several still staying there Saturday.
Good experience with them. You know, I've never had any issues with anybody on bikes or anything like that.
Around the Strip, we also spoke off camera with a longtime local rider and staff at Alley Cats. They told us, just like Tom, that members had mostly kept to themselves and, in their experience, had not caused trouble.
Sometimes it's unjustified. I've never had an issue with any of them here or any other walks of life.
The local rider told us the Angels generally keep a low profile on the Strip outside of Bike Fest. Stevens says September is a different story when the Strip fills with motorcycles. We followed one last lead to Lake Ozark Speedway, where we were told some riders might still be. By the time we arrived, the lot was empty, almost like they were never there.
Just regular, you wouldn't know the difference. If they didn't have Harley sitting there, you wouldn't know the difference of them.
We never did find a Hells Angel to talk to, but the business owners and riders we found who actually crossed paths with them described a visit far quieter than their reputation might suggest. In Lake Ozark, Phil Rodriguez, KY3 News.
Well, Wilson's Creek National Battlefield began its 100